Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are back one more time for this beautiful Saturday. It is GunzPicks, and this is a late night bangers edition on the GunzPicks channel. I am the host of the most point gutter podcast and the self-proclaimed CBB GOAT himself, GunzPicks, joining you here on a Saturday night. Late night bangers. If you don't know what the late night bangers are, well, let me tell you, this is what we do. Anything from 8 o'clock on. I actually got a 7:45 play that I'm going to give you here in a second so you can jump on that. But we talk about the stuff, the late night bangers. You can put them in. If you go to bed early, you can sleep, wake up Sunday with some cash in your pocket. Then you can join me tomorrow for the Breaking Ankles Show Sunday edition. It's going to be absolutely electric. Give me a yeah. If you boys are in the building, I need to hear you. Get into the chat. Join me here on YouTube. Like and subscribe. Robert gets it. He says, let's go, Guns. Give him a yeah. Take a little sip of the potion. But we got to get to these plays right now so you guys can jump on them now. Let's talk about this one coming up here at 7:45. ACC action, South Bend, Indiana. Joyce Center is the spot. Clemson versus Notre Dame. Notre Dame is a 6.5-point dog at home. And guess what? My God, we are going to be taking them here plus 6.5 as a 2-unit special. Let me tell you why. What's the strength of Clemson? It's their offense. 19th in offensive efficiency, 35th in field goal percentage, 201st in offensive rebounding, and they're 16th in free throw percentage. Now, on the defensive side for Notre Dame, that's a strength for them as well. 29th in defensive efficiency, 52nd in defending shots, 59th in defensive rebounding, and they're 37th in allowing opponents to get to the free throw line. This Notre Dame team is disciplined. They're well-schooled, and on the defensive side, they can suffocate you and make you miss shots. When you look at Notre Dame, what have they done? They've done pretty exceptionally well. 4-1 straight up in ATS in the last 5 games. This includes wins versus Virginia Tech, Wake Forest, the bubble team. So this team can win games against opponents that are above their pay grade, right? While Clemson is 6-1 straight up, I know they're on a little bit of a tear themselves. 5-2 ATS their last 7 games. The line positioning is not your typical take Clemson spot. If you look at the line for Clemson in these situations, 2-5 ATS when they are a favorite of 6 to 8 points. That's what you got here, folks, with Clemson. And then we look at the opposite side of the spectrum. Notre Dame has excelled when they are a dog around this number. They're actually 6-0 ATS when they are a dog of 5 to 8 points, and that includes outright wins in 4 of those spots, 4-2 straight up as well. So it may even be a situation that you may want to sprinkle a little bit of the dice on the money line here. Why not? 4-2 straight up in these situations. Notre Dame is. Also, Notre Dame 7-3 straight up in ATS in the last 10 meetings versus Clemson. So I think it's a good time to take the Irish. You know, we're close to St. Patty's Day. Might as well be back in the Irish while we still can. So I'm going to take Notre Dame on this one, plus 6.5, 2-unit special. And yes, as you can tell, this is my dog of the day. Let's go. Yes, sir. That's the first play off the board here as we get into the chat. So my mouse is freezing up. Uh-oh. All right, Matthew Owen coming in there. Let's get sipping that potion. Put you in motion. I'm ready for the bangers. Give him the horn. Speaking of the potion, let's take a sip. Delicious. That is pre-workout fuel, napalm with a sprinkle of excellence. That's what gets me fired up here on a late night bangers night. And of course, analytical Shin in the building saying, let's go. Give him a yeah. That's right. Tell him, LA Knight. Tell him. Woo-wee! I hope you guys are joining up here. If you haven't seen the plays, I just gave Notre Dame plus 6.5 as the first play. Let's get into some of these 8 o'clock games because I want to make sure you jump on those. These games do start in 22 minutes. But we're going to go to the SEC. We're going to talk a little Tennessee versus Alabama. Coleman Coliseum, Tuscaloosa, Alabama is the spot. 8 p.m. is the time on the East Coast. And we're going to be taking the favorite here, Alabama at home, -4, 2-unit banger here. When you look at this matchup statistically, the perception really is Tennessee has the advantage, right? Tennessee's offense, 18th in offensive efficiency, and they're going against an Alabama defense that's 100th in defensive efficiency. And then you got Alabama's offense. Of course, Alabama's offense is the strength of that team. First in offensive efficiency, fourth in field goal percentage, 20th in offensive rebounds, eighth in free throw percentage. Key point on that one, the free throw percentage, because the offense for Tennessee is 73rd in the country in free throw percentage. But the defense for Tennessee is one of the best in the country. Fourth in defensive efficiency, fourth in defending shots. But they are a little bit too aggressive. They do allow their opponents to get to the free throw line, 267th in allowing opponents to get to the charity stripe. And they're not a good defensive rebounding team, 158th in the country as far as that statistic is concerned. But when you break it down from home versus away splits, you have a different Vols team here. Tennessee's offense scores 78.4 points per game on the road versus 82.7 at home. So there is a little bit of a regression there. This is the big one here, though. Tennessee's defense allows 73.9 points per game on the road versus 61.3 points per game at home. That is a 12 to 13 point swing from home versus away splits that the defense gives up in scoring. Now you're going against a Bama team that's number one in offensive efficiency in the country. They scored 95.4 points per game at home versus 87.6 points per game on the road. But even though this defense is 100th in defensive efficiency, Bama's defense improves holding opponents to 71.6 points per game at home versus allowing 86.8 points per game on the road. So there is an improvement there. The team plays better at home. These two teams did meet on January 20th in Knoxville, and that Bama got embarrassed, 91-71. Tennessee beat them up, and they were 5.5 point dogs in that situation. Now the line has flipped to the other direction, making Bama a 4-point favorite here, 9.5 point swing. Bama's just a dominant team at home, 8-0 straight up, 7-1 ATS in their last 8 home games. Tennessee 1-3 straight up and ATS as a dog this season, 3-6 ATS on the road. So this is why we're taking Bama here. I love this spot. I think it's a perfect situation. Get right. You have the revenge factor. You have the line correlation. You have a good home team versus a bad road team. It's all the spots that we like. Give me Bama -4 as my best bet of the night. Delicious. Tastes like victory. That's what I say. All right. There is a game here that I'm going to add, and I'm just going to kind of ad lib in here. I was going to do it at the end of the show, but I want to make sure that it's an 8 o'clock game. I was looking at it a little bit earlier, and I didn't realize this. When New Mexico is going against Boise State State's playing at home. They're a 3-point favorite versus New Mexico, and it caught my eye for a second. I'm like, whoa, okay, let me look at this for a second. I realized that Boise already beat New Mexico this year at New Mexico as 10.5 point dogs. Beat them outright. Now you see them as a favorite here at home. Big line correlation swing, and they're just dominating teams at home. This Boise team is absolutely exceptional. Their only losses at home this season were UNLV and Utah State. Utah State is, of course, the best team in the Mountain West. But I think it's a good spot here to go jump on this one. So that is an extra ad that I'm going to put on here. So I'm not going to just give 5 plays. I'm going to give 6. Don't have much stats on this one. I looked at it before the show. I just think it's a perfect spot here for Boise to go get it done. Take Boise on -3 versus New Mexico tonight. And that's a 2-unit banger to add on bonus play for the boys. Let's get it. Hit the horn. And of course, Peter, he's a gun disciple. I need to hire him as my hype man. I need him as like just the guy like Public Enemy had Flavor Flav. That's my hype guy. He's just the guy with the clock around his neck going, yeah, boy, and just rooting me on. That's Peter in a nutshell. And of course, Analytical Shin says, love Bama here. I mean, yeah, perfect spot for them. Get right, best bet. I can't get past that one. I love that play so much. JR52, let's fucking go, Guns. Finish strong. Hell yeah. Give him the gun. Bang. Nope, we're going to cock it. We're going to bang it. That's how we're going to do it. Let's look at Sox Nation. Always back in the chat. Always has opinions, but is part of the group, and he is always part of the Gun Disciple family. Tennessee sides, Bama can't handle it. Bad matchup for Bama. We shall see. Sox Nation, we shall see. If we're going against each other once again, what a formidable opponent Sox Nation 35 is. Peter Gracia says, Boise loves it. He loves it. Look at the chat going. I love you guys, man. Matt Owen, Guns, you got anything on Zags and St. Mary's? You're going to have to wait to the end of the show. Ding! That's right. I'm going to have a play on that one, too. Definitely looked at that one. The Enforcer. Yeah, I'll take that one, too. I need some bodyguards. I need some big... I'm a big dude myself, but it always helps to have some size, especially in the gambling industry. You always meet someone that's bigger than you. All right, so gave you 2 8 o'clock plays. Now we're going to get into some of the later night action on this one. All right, let's talk about this one. Mississippi versus Missouri. The stinkiest of all stinkiest plays. I look at this one and I'm baffled. I'm baffled by the line. It looks stupid, and I don't understand it. They're playing at Mizzou Arena, Columbia, Missouri, 8:30 p.m. It's an overlook game, in my opinion, but I don't think the Sharps are overlooking this game because this line is short. And when it looks dumb, you just got to take it, right? So I'm going to be taking the dog on this one. I'm going to take Missouri plus 1.5, 2-unit play. Listen, statistically, Mississippi's the better team. 38th in offensive efficiency versus a defense for Missouri, 177th in defensive efficiency. On the offensive side for Missouri, 137th in offensive efficiency against a Mississippi defense is 136th in defensive efficiency. Granted, there is a good matchup there, but on the offensive side, the Rebels have the advantage. Then you got to look at this. Missouri has lost 15 straight games. That's right. Straight up lost 15 straight games. But lately they've shown a little bit of life, a little resuscitation. They're 3-1 ATS in the last 4 games. Looking on the other side for Mississippi, they're 1-6 straight up in their last 7 games, 1-6 ATS in that span. One of those wins was against Missouri. That was it. Everybody else they lost to. These teams met on February 17th. Missouri lost barely to them, 79-76 on the road as 11.5-point dogs. Now the line is 1.5. A what? A what? Come on. When I see that, I'm like, something's up. Something's fishy about this one. You're telling me a team that has lost 15 straight games in a row, 1.5-point dogs. That's almost like a pick 'em at this point against a Mississippi team that, granted, isn't playing well, but they're playing a team that even plays worse. Then you look at Mississippi, 3-6 straight up in ATS on the road this season, and they even struggled earlier in November versus Temple. So maybe there is a path here, right? Mississippi is also 5-1 straight up ATS in the last 6 meetings versus Mississippi, so they do own them, and they have the revenge factor, losing to them by 3 points at Mississippi. So with all that being said, I can't ignore this play. Sometimes when it looks dumb, it smells dumb, it's probably the right side to be on this one. So I'm going to be taking Missouri plus 1.5, 2-unit play. And if I'm wrong and Missouri gets their butt whooped, then I look like the dumbest man on the planet. But if he does hit and they end up winning this game, I look like the smartest man. So I call it a win-win because listen, this is, everybody calls me dumb, and I'm accepting my stupidity. But I want to look like a smart man today. I'm going to take Missouri plus 1.5, 2-unit banger. Let's hit the gun. Woo-hoo! All right, getting to the chat. Yeah, this one hurt bad. Best bets, Charlotte. No more home favorites against ranked. Yeah, two in a row, 0-2. You're right. You're right. Sometimes you have to learn your lessons, and I learned my lessons the hard way. I go into this one direction, and you look at these ranked teams, they're hitting at a coin flip, really, winning these games. Of course, Illinois came out versus a Wisconsin team that there's no rebounding for Wisconsin at this point. They're just a falling knife. They're a complete ignore team in every single situation, home versus away. You either take the opposite side or you pass on the game. Charlotte, I don't know what happened with that game. It was a close first half. Second half, it was just complete, utter fall apart. I guess South Florida is just way too hot right now. They're an unstoppable force, immovable object. But I tell you what, that tournament, the AAC tournament, is going to be electric. I can't wait to watch that one. There's so many teams that could win that. I want to see who comes out of there with the trophy, cutting down the nets for that conference tournament. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Yeah, Sox Nation, man. We on the opposite side today, Sox Nation. You're killing me, dude. You're killing me. But you know what? Embrace debate. It's okay, man. We'll see at the end of the table. And if you're up, you're up. I'll shake your hand. And if you're down, you're down. You're a guy that at least admits when you're wrong. So I appreciate you and love and respect you for that. His someone hurt for Ole Miss? No, I looked. I thought that was something that happened. I went and looked at the injury report. Didn't see anything that stuck out on. I looked at a couple sites, unless there's something that I don't know, and we're going to see a game time decision type of situation. But this one just the line reeks on this one. Of course, let's go Guns. Let's go Guns. I mean, chat's just going wild. Let's get into some of these other plays right now. So we talked about Missouri. We're going to go into the 9 o'clock slate here. We're going to talk a little TCU versus BYU. We're going to talk a little Big 12 action here at the Marriott Center, Provo, Utah. 9 p.m. East is the tip. And I'm going with his favorite on this one, BYU and the altitude, -6.5, 2-unit play. This is a heavy favorite here versus this TCU team that I thought was a lot better than the line is giving me here. I mean, look at the offense for TCU, 35th in offensive efficiency. They're going against a BYU team that's 55th in defensive efficiency, 17th in defensive rebounding. But on the other side for TCU, they can rebound well too. They're 23rd in offensive rebounding, but they're not a good free throw shooting team. 152nd in the country in free throw percentage. I wouldn't call it the worst, but I call it average. They're an average free throw shooting team. BYU, 9th in offensive efficiency, 23rd in field goal percentage. They can shoot the rock. 45th in offensive rebounding and 104th in free throw percentage. They don't turn over the ball a lot. They're ranked 57th in the country in turnover percentage. And they're going against a TCU defense that's 32nd in defensive efficiency, 25th at ball hawking, steals and blocks, and getting turnovers. Are 25th in the country in turnover percentage, 166 in defensive rebounds. But you got to look at the home versus road splits here for TCU. They scored 79.4 points per game on the road, 81.1 points per game at home. So basically identical. Good stats there for TCU. On the defensive side, a little bit of regression, though. 77.1 points per game given up to opponents on the road versus 64.8 points per game at home. So you have a little bit of dynamic there between road versus home splits. BYU is just a juggernaut at home. That's where they play their best ball. They don't travel well, even though they won a great game versus Kansas. Second half explosion to win that game. I think they outscored them 67-33 in that. But BYU's defense allowed 65.7 points per game at home, 74 points per game on the road. And their offense is explosive, 86.8 points per game at home versus 77 points per game on the road. So there is, on both sides of the ball, BYU plays better. And you look what they're doing lately. This BYU team is just gassing on all cylinders. This team beat Baylor. This team beat Kansas in Kansas. So this is a team that is absolutely backable in a bye team right now. And also BYU 5-0 ATS is a single-digit favorite at home this season. This is where they play their best ball. They're going to go out there and beat TCU and beat them by double digits, in my opinion. We will see what happens. But I'm going to take BYU on this one. -6.5, 2-unit banger, baby. Michael Belita joining. He goes, what up, Guns? Huge day. Looks like 8-3 for my guy, Mike. Let's go. Give him the horn. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. And you tried to talk me out of that Wisconsin thing, and I didn't listen. Like an idiot I am, I took Wisconsin. God. Sometimes I get too blurred. I'm like, this line doesn't make sense, so you got to take it. And happens. Then we got what does he got? I'm on the other side here. Give me TCU plus the 7 and the money line. He thinks the outright here for against BYU. I know, highs of high. I got it. I got the idea. I did consider that as well, but I just think BYU is the right side on this one. We shall see at the end of the rainbow. But you know what? Mike's hot, 8-3 today, so I'm 3-3. Added the Auburn play late. If you saw it on X, I did go 2-3 in the plays on the show, but I did add one for the extra if you were following on X. So I did go 3-3. We will see how we finish the night here. Got another 6 plays, right? All right. Speaking of, just making sure I talked about everything here. All right. So let's go to the last play on the board here. Okay. And of course, it was brought up in the chat already. Oh, Dan in the building says rugby league in Vegas today, Guns. Let's go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's go. All right, let's go to the last game of the board. This is a big game in the WCC. There's not a lot of implications to the tournament per se, but it is a big game nonetheless to finish off the night. Gonzaga versus St. Mary's. Credit Union Pavilion, Moraga, California, 10 p.m. tip. And I'm going with St. Mary's one more time. I just think St. Mary's is not even arguably the best team in that conference, and they should be more motivated than Gonzaga here, in my opinion. You look on the offensive side of the ball here for Gonzaga, 11th in offensive efficiency, 7th in field goal percentage, 36th in offensive rebounding, and 153rd on the free throw line. But they're going against a good defense here for St. Mary's, 13th in defensive efficiency, 3rd in the country in defending shots, and they're 1st in the country in defensive rebounding. So not only can they defend and allow their opponents to miss shots, they're a great rebounding team as well. Offensively, a little bit of a drop off here for St. Mary's, 43rd in offensive efficiency, 60th in free field goal percentage, but they're a good rebounding team, 5th in offensive rebounds, but a terrible free throw shooting team, 309th in free throw percentage. But I think this team is just going to score buckets inside, even though they can't shoot the ball from the free throw line. Is probably because they're just really a tall sized team inside, and those guys don't shoot free throws for anything. Gonzaga on the defensive side, 53rd in defensive efficiency, 33rd in defending shots, 237th in creating turnovers, 66 in defensive rebounds. So they're good matchup there from both sides on the offensive defensive sides. So I think it's going to be a tight matchup, but I think if you're going to pick one team to win it, I'm going to take the home team. Gonzaga's on a roll too. After that loss to St. Mary's weeks ago, they've won 7 in a row since their loss but they're 4-3 ATS in that span, and they're 1-3 ATS in the last 4 games. So there is a little bit of a drop off here for Gonzaga coming into the spot. And then St. Mary's just on a roll, 16 straight wins, 6-1 ATS in the last 7 games. So this team is just barreling into the tournament in the right time. And if you look at the first matchup, St. Mary's did win 64-62 as 4.5-point dogs. The line has swung to 3 now to favor St. Mary's. And it's the last home game of the season. Not only that, it's the last regular season game of the season for both teams. But it's senior night. It's a big night. It's a motivational night. If there's any motivation on this side, it's a St. Mary's side, because Gonzaga really doesn't have anything to play for here unless they want to just build their resume, which they kind of have to. They think this is a win and in spot, but I think that winning the conference is more of a win and in for them. So in my opinion, they don't need to win this game at all. They've already locked up the 2 seed in the tournament, in the conference tournament. So to me, this is a meaningless game. It's more a motivational game for St. Mary's to finish off the season strong at home, get it done, and maybe a good opportunity to take Gonzaga in the championship game if these 2 teams meet. So give me St. Mary's here, -2.5, 2-unit play, baby. There you go. Just gave you 6 plays on the board. And of course, Peter, still a great day, boys. Yeah, it's always a great day. Hitting plays left and right. It's what we do. We're 3-3 right now. We're not going to finish 3-3, obviously. We got 6 plays on the board. What we want to do is finish 9-3. I want to be like Mike today. I want to be like Mike. Mike just going 8-3 right now, even though we're on the opposite side of TCU. I want to beat him on 1. Let's go with this one. He goes, Auburn, good call today. Yeah, Auburn, they were in a perfect spot. Mississippi State on the road, blah. And the defense actually picked up there for Auburn, which I like that. Kind of helped their offense kind of get going as well. The offense looked great. First half looked great. A little bit of regression, but they finished off strong. It was a whiskey spot. They were just playing like crap recently. Yeah, I know. The team's regressing, falling knife. Can't take them anymore. And then Sox Nation on the opposite side again with me. God, man. He thinks Gonzaga's going to win by 10. I say it always. We shall see. We shall see. Revenge spot, but why didn't the line reflect that? The revenge doesn't reflect in the line. We'll see what happens tonight. I go, who went to Kentucky and what? Fair point. Fair point. Out of conference play, though, not in conference play. And I will say this, out of conference play for St. Mary's, not very good. So there you go with that. Maybe if Gonzaga does win their conference tournament and gets a ticket into the NCAA tournament, we'll have to look for the spots for them because I think that team plays very well outside the conference. Whiskey. Oh yeah, I'm yeah, whiskey. And he likes Mizzou today. Oh, we align on something. I love it, man. I love it. All right, so those are the plays that paid the bills. We're about 1 minute away from the tip of the 8:00 games, and of course, the Notre Dame game has already tipped up at 7:45. So we're on Notre Dame plus 6.5. Dog of the day. We're on Bama -4, 2-unit special against Tennessee in a revenge spot. St. Mary's -2.5, 2-unit play. We're gonna do BYU -6.5. And then we're going to do the stupidest of all stupidest plays, Missouri plus 1.5, 2-unit play. And I added a bonus play for you at Boise -3. So 6 plays, 2 units for each one of these plays. I think that's going to give us a beautiful night. We shall see. I know there's an embrace debate in the chat, but I love you guys for joining me always. Appreciate you. And if you're just new to this, if you haven't seen the shows before, I do this on a daily basis. Everybody knows. And regular times during the week at 6:30. Saturdays, I do 11 and 7:30. And, of course, tomorrow I got to check what the board is. I'm probably going to do like noontime or 11. I haven't figured it out yet, but just go check me out on Twitter at GunzPicks to go get the updates there. So good luck with your picks, everybody. Let's dominate the board. And as always, let's keep dancing. Bang!